Alright, hi. Today we'll be talking about surface areas of prisms and cylinders. Okay, now a prism is this shape right here. It's when you have two, polygons, and they are parallel to each other, and they're joined by these things called lateral faces. Okay, so this is a lateral face in front here, this is a lateral face on the back right, and the back left would be a lateral face. Okay. Alright, and a cylinder is when you have two circles that are both congruent and they are parallel, and then you join them with a lateral face around. Now these are actually examples of right prisms and right cylinders. In other words, their sides are perpendicular to each other, or their lateral side is perpendicular with the other portion. Okay, now if I were to actually draw an oblique would be just a little bit off center. I'm just working with it. Okay. Okay, now when you're dealing with this, you'll definitely be dealing with the altitudes, which is what you draw from one vertex to the other side to be perpendicular. So this will definitely be an altitude. Okay, all right. So altitude right here, we'll call that A. Well, not necessarily A, we'll go ALT. A is going to be used a little bit later when we talk about a different three-dimensional shape. Okay, now everything is measured by height, and the height is actually going to be the length or width, however, depending on how you want to look at it, of the lateral shape. Okay? Okay? All right. Now, these two right here, this top and bottom of each one of these shapes, these are called the bases. Okay, so when you see perimeter of base in the actual formula, you're literally going to look for the perimeter of that shape. Okay? All right? Now, here's some unique stuff that we're going to be taking a look at. Okay, we're going to take a look at the nets of each shape. Alright, now these are really crappily drawn, but this is actually the net of this triangular prism that was on the previous page. Now if we had a rectangular prism, obviously this would be a rectangle and this would be a rectangle. Okay, and the circle is pretty much going to be, or the cylinder is going to be pretty much the same net whenever you're working with it. So when we look at the areas, okay, this is going to be some really cool stuff. Alright, if this was 2, 2, and 2, and then let's say this was 7, okay, to find the area of this shape right here, we would do 6 times 7, which would be 42. Okay, so if we go back and look at the actual formula, you take the perimeter of the base times the height. Well, guess what we did? We did the 2, and the 2. And then let's say that the height was 7. Okay, all right, so that's actually an explanation of lateral area. Now, lateral area only explains the area outside. It doesn't explain the whole surface area. Okay, and the whole surface area is going to be the lateral area, which if you notice, I have it written out longhand here so you understand what each letter mean, but then I've written out shorthand, so this is still perimeter times height. But then you're going to add 2 times the area of the base. Now, why 2 times the area of the base? Because guess what? You are making two congruent shapes. So if we find the area of these two shapes and add it with this area, we'll find the actual surface area. Now, I like to tell my students, whenever we're working with lateral areas, if you just wanted to be really lazy and wrapping presents, and just wrap around the sides. You didn't care about covering the top and bottom. Surface area is if you want to cover everything with it. Okay? Alright, so that's going to be how that works. Now, the area of the base, I did not write out a specific formula because this could be a triangle, which one day would be a 1/2 times base times height. What if it was a rectangle? Then it would be length times width. What if it was a pentagon? Then we're going to use 1/2 times apothem times perimeter of that shape. Okay, and we would obviously just be dealing with regular prisms as we work with it. Now, if you guys are noticing, like, wait, hold on, Mr. Vanny, if we slant this, if we make this oblique, like this shape over here, can we still do this formula? Yes, you can. It actually does work out quite well. Okay, except you'll probably be using the altitude instead of the height to actually work with it. Okay, all right. Alright, now cylinders are pretty easy, and if you notice over here, okay, this is pretty darn easy. Now this is actually the height of the cylinder, believe it or not. Okay, and obviously we'll have a radius. Okay, so the radius is pretty simple. All right, but a lot of people have a tough time seeing this. Like they're going, wait, what's the length of that? Well, if we go back to the original picture, all right, if we start here and we go around the actual object, we just went around the circumference. So guess what? 2 pi times radius. All right, so this is in fact the circumference of the circle. Okay, all right, so if we take the circumference of the circle and times it by the height, we will actually get the lateral area of a cylinder. So that's really nice. Okay, so I wrote it out here just so you guys can be able to work with it. Okay, and obviously the radius, it's one of the easiest ones to find. Technically for cylinder, all you need is radius and height and you can work with it. Prism, you do kind of need perimeter, and then you do need to have some specific ideas about finding the area of that base, but you know, you just pick which one you want to use. Okay, all right. Now lateral area is just the area around the cylinder. Now if we wanted to find the actual surface area, we'd also need to find the area of these two shapes, which are just circles with a radius on there. So that's why we have circumference times height plus 2 times pi r squared. Okay, and that's why the surface area is this formula right here. All right, and just remember 2 pi r is actually circumference, so if you want to rewrite it as that, you can. Okay. The really awesome thing is lateral area is really helpful in just explaining the lateral faces and everything, and then surface area is good at explaining the entire surface of the area. Okay, so lateral is just the new thing that we'll be talking about a lot today. Okay, all right, that's it for surface area and prisms. I will talk to you later. Oh, prisms and cylinders. I'll talk to you later. Bye.